Hello legends, welcome Lazarus Gaming, and we are continuing with character creation videos today. So this is World of Warcraft Classic, not live. This is the Classic. So this will be a fairly short video because the character generator on this is like basic bitch. They haven't really updated it. Well, actually, this is the classic generator anyway, so it's any of the changes they've made in live isn't reflected in this as far as I'm aware. So let's get in. So you can see I love World of Warcraft. I loved it when it first came out. I've lost my life to it. And when they re-announced Classic being released, I was very excited about it because I'd stopped playing after some of the expansions came out and destroyed the game completely, as far as I was concerned. The flying mounts was the start of the end, and from there it just went down. Pandas were 100% the breaking point. That was a ridiculous release. Yeah, and it just got worse after that. I've popped into the game every now and then as it's come. Over every couple of months I'd log in, and I just don't like the way the game is anymore on the live servers. So this was great when I found this out, and as you can see, I am an altaholic and I have every character class because I like to play everything and just try everything out. Most of them are human for me, which sort of means I'm playing the same story over and over and over and over again, which is why I throw in like a dwarf and a hunter, an elf now and then. You'll also notice that on mine I play purely alliance. I don't like these classes, these races. There's just something about them. I'm not keen on this side of the faction list. I don't know if it's just the looks or what it is. This is my side. I'm alliance all the way. I do occasionally play a Tauren, but that's the only one I think is is decent looking enough to play. But yeah, so the character creation screen is this. There is no next, there's no sliders, there's no like heavy customization. You can't zoom in on the face of the character. This is it. So one of the main options you will want to make for the class you're going to play is the class and race that you're going to play combination is you'll want to look at this panel here that has the race description, because they have racial benefits or bonuses on each of these. So we can quickly flick through some of these, and we'll go over each of the bonuses. So this humans and all races can be both male and female. There's no gender locking on any of the races, but some races can only be certain classes. So we'll go into these. So the humans get stealth detection increase, an increased spirit, which would be good for priests, and spirit. I think paladin maybe uses spirit. I can't remember off the top of my head if that would be advantageous to paladin. I'm going to say yes, but I'm not sure because they're a hybrid class, the paladins. They're priest and warrior classes combined. The bonus to reputation gains. So reputation gains is all the different groups and cities and sort of like guilds have reputation with them. So this human would start in Stormwind. So Stormwind has a reputation. Then there are pirates or I guess, pirates that have a reputation. And there's, you know, dwarves in Ironforge have an Ironforge reputation. So each area has like a reputation area that you can gain, which is cool if you're a completionist. Like, stuff like that is important. And you also get rewards from like the reputation quartermasters, and some of the rewards from those quartermasters are actually really cool and quite useful. So working your way up through the reputation for some of these things is important. And if you get a bonus to it, I'm not sure how much of a bonus this is to the gains, but you know, any little helps. And the reputation gains can actually take quite a while to work through, and you know, you get a gain on it. It's definitely going to reduce how much time you have to grind away for. So skill with swords and maces is increased as well. So obviously swords and maces, that means paladins and warriors, maybe rogues for swords, because they use swords as well. But the humans are a good all-rounder. They can be almost every class except for the druid, and they're just a general good all-round race to be. Dwarfs are they get stone form, which is like a defense buff for, I think it lasts like 10 or 30 seconds, and it's on a cooldown. The skill with guns is increased, so that's obviously a hunter ability. Warriors can use guns as well, but obviously they only use them really for pulling mobs to them, right? Whereas hunters use them almost the whole time. Resistant to frost damage, and they get a treasure finding ability. Night elves, they get fade into shadows, dodge chance increased, wisp form while dead. Wisp form is, all the others are ghosts, and the wisp form is slightly faster, so if you die you get back to your body quicker. I think that's the only benefit that has compared to anything else. And resistant to nature damage. Certain bosses and things use certain types of damage, so having a little bit extra damage, especially nature damage, because you don't want to have to put nature damage on your gear, and nature damage gear isn't that great or easy to find from memory. So having that, you know, like I say, every little helps. The gnomes have a crowd control shake off, so they can escape from speed altering effects. They have increased intelligence, they're resistant to arcane damage, and they have an engineering skill increase. So engineering is a crafting ability, not an actual class like in Guild Wars 2. So that's an engineering skill increase, is the engineering crafting abilities. Resistant to arcane damage. Increased intelligence is obviously going to be a mage. That helps if you're a mage or a warlock. So those two, they make good warlocks and mages. So you see quite a few of them. Gnomes as mages and warlocks. Alright, the troll gets berserk, increasing which increases attack and casting speed, so that's quite good. That's actually quite a good hunter skill, I think, because hunters have some of their attacks are actually considered spells, so to get an increase in attack and casting speed would be quite good for a hunter. And obviously any other class can use increase in attack. Like if you're a mage you need casting speed, and if you're or a paladin you need casting speed, and but the horde can't be paladins. They get shaman instead, which is, I guess, the equivalent of a paladin. Regeneration is increased, so that's helpful for if you're in combat a lot and you want to, you know, you're grinding away, and it helps your energy, your health increase, or your mana. It doesn't specify health or mana, so I'm assuming it's both. Damage increase versus beasts. It's just a standard attack that gives you more. Gives you bonus damage to whatever you're attacking. There's a beast type creature. And throwing and bow skills. So hunter again on this one, because they get throwing axe, and I think the rogues get throwing daggers or throwing stars or something like that, and bow weapons. So yeah, good hunter class probably. Maybe a good yeah, probably a good rogue class as well, because of the increased attack berserk rage. You know, regeneration helps with your grinding. So Taurens. Okay, Taurens get to be druids, the same as the night elves. They're the only two in the game that get to be druids. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so these two are the only two that get to be druids. And that's like a nature ability. So they get so they can be what is it they can be when they're a druid? You get to be a feral druid, which is the damage dealing druid. You get to be the bear, which is the tanky style druid, and you get to be an Umkin. I'm 100% certain it's not called an Umkin. I think people used to call it Umkin because it ran out of mana all the time. But that one is like a healing type druid. So they get Stomp. The Taurens get Stomp, which stuns nearby opponents, which could be good for all classes, but warrior, obviously, that would be good for more than others, I would imagine. Maximum health increase, obviously, again, if you're a tank or a warrior, that would be good for you. And herbalism is just a gathering skill, and resistant to nature damage. The undead have immune to fear, sleep, and charm, which is actually really may become immune to fear, sleep, and charm, which is actually a really good ability to have, especially in PvP where you've got priests throwing fear out all the time. May consume corpses to regain health. I love this. I think this is hilarious. I think that's like such a cool thing to do for a zombie style race. Underwater breathing increased and resistant to shadow damage. And the orcs get enrage, which increases damage, but diminishes your ability to be healed. So if you're taking damage, you're not going to get as much healing coming in from priests and stuff. Resistant to stun effects, they're self-explanatory. There's another crowd control shake off, and it's not immune to stun effects, it's resistant. So I think it just reduces the effect of a stun on you. Rather than having a 10-second stun, you get stunned for 2 seconds or whatever. Damage done by pets increased. So a hunter, warlock would benefit from that because they both have pets. And the skill with axes is increased. I don't know if in classic the mage still has... this one can't be a mage anyway, so it's not really an issue. But I think the mage used to have a water pet as well, and a fire pet. I'm not 100% sure if that was an expansion or if that was classic. But then you've got skill with axes increased as well. Or I'm mixing up my MMOs and it was a completely different MMO that had that. I'll have to have a look into that and double check it. But yeah, so they're the main racial stats that you get, or bonuses that you get for each one. And as I said, most of these races have certain classes that they will be. The humans get everything except for the druid. Dwarfs gain nothing over anybody else, but they can't be a druid and they can't be a warlock. Night elves can't be warlocks and they can't be paladins. Gnomes cannot be paladins, warlocks, paladins, druids, or priests. I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's a reason for it. On this side, this is the equivalent of the human. They can be everything except for the druid. The Tauren can be a druid, but cannot be a warlock, priest, or what's missing? Warlock, priest, or rogue, because they're too fat and slow probably. This one cannot be a druid or a shaman. They can be a priest because there's a shadow priest as well as a holy priest. So, and these can actually be a healing priest or a shadow priest. They're not. It's not just one or the other. And you often see people running around in PvP as like undead shadow priests, and they're super annoying. All the shadow priests are super annoying in PvP, or they used to be. Like I say, I haven't played this game in forever, and I haven't PvP'd in it in like a decade. So, you know, if you want to get in depth in that sort of stuff and the differences between games and things like that, I think Lazy Peon built his channel on World of Warcraft videos, so maybe some of his older stuff check out as well. And then we got the trolls, which they can be everything except for a druid and a priest. So character creation is basically this. You can flick through a few colors on the skin, you can flick through a few different faces, but you can't really see the faces that much when you're playing anyway, especially when you put the helm on and stuff. And there's only maybe 10 faces to pick through here. Hairstyles, again, there's about 10, maybe even less for this class, this race. Excuse me. And then you get some piercings like ears and nose. Different races have different things, like these guys get markings on their faces, but the males get facial hair and no markings. So Taurens get horns and facial hair, orcs get facial hair, and that's it. Yeah. And the trolls get tusks, so these big tusks coming out of their mouths, and the female version is just still tusks but very small. And that is your character creator for World of Warcraft. It doesn't have a lot to it, to be honest. I mean, it hasn't changed. I mean, this is classic, so it hasn't. This is obviously what was, you know, the slightly improved version of the release. I think the live version now has a few additional things on it for character creator, but I'm going to look at the live version next. I'm actually just downloading that game because it's not installed, and I'll be able to compare the two side by side. So that will actually be the next character creator video I do, so that I can compare them a bit more easily and comment on what is different in the two different videos. Yeah, and that's all there is for this one. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to leave me a comment, leave me a comment. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the ding dong so you get notified when I release any new videos. And thanks for joining me. Take care.